What you believe about yourself in the quiet moments determines everything the world will one day believe about you. But here is the truth. No one will say to you plainly, talent is not enough. It never was. It never will be. The world is full of gifted men who are poor, brilliant minds buried beneath broken habits, potential that never touches the surface of reality. And here you are, wondering if you have what it takes. I will tell you now, you do not need more talent. You do not need more intelligence. You need discipline. Because discipline, unyielding, relentless, forged by your own will, pays more than talent ever will. The history of every man who changed the world is not a history of genius. It is a history of endurance, of routine, of unshakable decisions repeated long after motivation faded. Andrew Carnegie did not begin with power. He began in poverty. Henry Ford was not born a titan of industry. He was the son of a farmer. Thomas Edison did not invent by inspiration. He invented by iteration, by work, by unwavering repetition in the face of failure. You must understand this. The man who wins is not the one who burns the brightest, but the one who burns the longest. Talent without discipline is a spark with no fuel, but discipline turns the smallest spark into an unquenchable fire. You see, discipline is not glamorous. It is not exciting. It is not a rush of feeling or an Instagram-worthy post. It is waking up when you said you would. It is building when no one is watching. It is moving forward when the mind whispers quit. And every time you choose discipline over distraction, you make a deposit into the account of your future self. Compound interest of character, compound interest of mastery, compound interest of trust in your own identity. And one day that you do not choose, the world will begin to see in you something unshakable, not genius, not natural talent, but power. The power of a man who can be trusted. The power of a man who does what he says. The power of a man who moves through fear. The power of a man who executes, regardless of how he feels. That man will always rise. Because discipline pays dividends in ways talent never can. Let me tell you a truth I learned from every great man I ever studied. Your habits shape your destiny, not your gifts. Edison said, "And genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." And he lived it. Do you think the light bulb was born from brilliance? No. It was born from 10,000 attempts, 10,000 failures, each one met with the decision to persist. That is discipline. Now listen closely. When you look at yourself and think, if only I was more talented, if only I had more opportunities, if only I was smarter, you are lying to yourself. Because the man with average talent, who outworks, outlasts, and outdisciplines the gifted man, wins every time. Why? Because the world rewards consistency. The world pays those who can be relied upon. The world exalts those who show up again and again, long after lesser men have quit. And this is the shift you must make, now. You must stop seeking external permission. You must stop worshipping talent as the answer. You must stop waiting for perfect conditions or perfect confidence. You must choose discipline. You must build an inner machine that does not ask, "Do I feel ready?" but commands. "I move because I said I would." That machine will free you, because here is another truth. The man who relies on talent is a slave to his moods. If he feels good, he performs. If he feels tired, he falters. If the applause is loud, it moves. If it is silent, he drifts. But the disciplined man, he is unmoved by mood. He is unmoved by applause. He is unmoved by setback. He is moved only by one law. I do what I said I would do. I become what I repeatedly do. I move because my future demands it, and I promise you, discipline forged in private will be honored in public. But you must pay the price. You must be willing to be bored. You must be willing to repeat. You must be willing to be the man who trains long after others have stopped clapping. The reward? Freedom, because talent is seductive, but discipline is liberating. Talent makes you admired. Discipline makes you unstoppable. Now listen, this is important. When a man truly installs discipline into his life, he no longer hopes. He builds certainty. He no longer asks, "Will I succeed?" He says, "If I do the right things long enough, success is inevitable." Because life does not deny the man who disciplines himself in alignment with his vision. It simply waits to reward him on a timeline he does not control. The undisciplined man, he breaks, he blames, he drifts, he doubts. But the disciplined man, he endures, he adjusts, he learns, he builds, and slowly, surely he becomes the man who earns what others only dream of. Now hear this. If there is one law I would engrave upon your mind, it is this: discipline compounds. The small action today, repeated tomorrow, strengthened next week, reinforced next month, becomes identity, and identity governs destiny. Do not miss this. The undisciplined man cannot trust himself. He says he will wake early, but he sleeps in. He says he will eat clean, but he indulges. He says he will build, but he scrolls. And each time he betrays his word, he teaches his subconscious, I cannot be trusted. But the disciplined man, every rep done in silence, every morning honored, every distraction defeated, every hard thing completed. He teaches his subconscious, I am a man of action, I'm a man of reliability, I'm a man of strength. And over time, he no longer needs to fight for discipline. It fights for him. Because the subconscious mind, my friend, does not resist what is repeated with conviction. It becomes what you demand of it. And when discipline becomes your nature, there is no limit, no ceiling, no circumstance can contain a man whose discipline transcends mood, environment, or emotion. That man is dangerous. That man is rare. That man is who you are called to become. Because the man of talent alone is fragile. Yes, talent will open the first door. It will earn a glance, a compliment, a spark of admiration. But in the halls of greatness, admiration fades. There, only discipline sustains momentum. And when the me inevitable happens, when resistance arrives, when the winds of life blow cold, when the world forgets to applaud, it is the disciplined man who remains standing. This is why the vision you carry inside must be forged in discipline, not in talent. For if you build your vision upon the shaky foundation of natural gifts, it will collapse the moment the ground shakes. But if you build upon the granite of disciplined action, it will endure every storm. Hear this: the man who wins in the end is not the fastest to start, it is the one who refuses to stop. That is why discipline pays more than talent. Because talent can take you to the mountaintop, but only discipline can keep you there. Look at the giants of history. Study their lives, as I have, line by line. You will not find a man who rose to greatness on talent alone. Carnegie built his empire on structure and endurance. Ford transformed an industry through relentless iteration and process. Lincoln held a nation together through unwavering moral discipline and emotional fortitude. Edison built 1,000 inventions through systematic, disciplined experimentation. Their stories echo one truth: consistency conquers brilliance. Now ask yourself, honestly, are you building your life on bursts of motivation? Or are you laying brick after brick after brick of disciplined effort? Because here is the harsh law of reality. The world owes you nothing for your potential. It rewards only what you convert into value through disciplined action. And every day you wait to feel ready. Every day you let comfort seduce you. Every day you delay the hard thing. You train your mind to tolerate mediocrity, but when you wake each day and execute, regardless of how you feel, you train your mind to crave progress. This is how giants are made, not by talent, not by motivation, but by unrelenting movement toward the vision. Understand this deeply. Discipline is not punishment. It is permission. Permission to access levels of power most men will never taste. When you master discipline, you unlock a gate that talent alone cannot open, because discipline gives you leverage over time. The man of discipline gains ground while others drift. He sharpens while others sleep. He builds while others talk. And eventually, he earns what they say envy. You may think this is unfair, but life does not reward fair. It rewards earned power, and discipline is the currency. Listen, there is a war happening inside you right now, between the voice of comfort and the voice of discipline. One whispers, rest a little longer. No one will know. You deserve it. The other declares, "Move now, build now, your future demands it." The voice you obey becomes the architect of your destiny. Choose wisely. Let me speak plainly to you now. There is no savior coming, no perfect system will save you. No new book, no morning routine hack, no external force will impose discipline upon you. It must be self-authored, because self-imposed discipline is the highest form of freedom. When you choose the hard path, when you embrace repetition, when you build structure within chaos, you become sovereign, you become dangerous, you become the man who no longer needs to borrow strength from fleeting emotion, because strength is already embedded in your character. Here is the final law you must engrave upon your heart. Discipline makes you trustworthy, to yourself first and then to the world. For the man who cannot trust himself cannot lead, cannot build, cannot inspire. But the man who honors his word to himself becomes magnetic. Others follow him. Opportunities seek him. Life opens its richest doors to him, not because he was born gifted, but because he earned trust through discipline. Now breathe this truth in. If you have been waiting for a sign, this is it. You are not here by accident. You are hearing these words because you are called to rise. Not someday, now. And the path is clear. Do not seek talent. Do not seek comfort. Seek discipline, for it will outpay talent every time. Now move, begin, without apology, without hesitation, without needing to feel ready. Because discipline does not wait for readiness. Discipline creates it. And the man who acts through discipline will in time become the man others call unstoppable. And as you move, understand this. You are not just performing tasks. You are writing code deep into the operating system of your identity. Every choice, every action, every moment of discipline installs a new belief about who you are becoming. And identity, my friend, identity is everything. The man who acts once is trying. The man who acts repeatedly is becoming. Let this truth settle in your bones. You will become what you rehearse. If you rehearse distraction, you will become distracted. If you rehearse discipline, you will become disciplined. There is no neutrality. You are practicing something always, and discipline, practiced daily, becomes a force. Not a fragile motivation, not a passing mood, but a law. A gravitational pull that commands your behavior automatically. This is why repetition matters more than perfection. The disciplined man is not perfect, he is consistent. He honors the process, even when the product is imperfect. And in doing so, he achieves mastery where others stall. Because the undisciplined man, he waits for perfect conditions. He overthinks, hesitates, starts and stops. But the disciplined man, he moves, he builds, he adapts in motion, and over time, his consistency compounds into skill, his movement compounds into momentum, and his identity, it transforms. Until he no longer says, "I am trying to be disciplined." He says, "I am a man of discipline." And this is the shift you must make. Because when identity shifts, behavior follows. No longer will you need to fight with yourself to move. You will move because moving is what you do. This is how you become unstoppable. Now let me speak to another truth the world rarely teaches. Discipline births adaptability. The more disciplined you are, the more flexible you become. Because the man with structure has capacity to handle chaos. He is not derailed by setback. He is not paralyzed by uncertainty. He adapts, not by abandoning discipline, but by using it as a stabilizing force. Look at the titans of history. Lincoln led through the blood and division of civil war. He remained steady. Ford navigated the Industrial Revolution. He adapted through systems. Edison faced 1,000 public failures. He persisted through disciplined process. They did not survive chaos through talent alone. They transcended it through unwavering discipline. Understand this deeply. Discipline is not rigidity. It is not the absence of creativity. It is the foundation that allows creativity to be sustained. It is the structure that frees your mind to innovate under pressure. Because when the world is uncertain, discipline becomes your anchor. And this is why it pays more than talent. Talent is a spark. but discipline is the furnace that keeps the fire alive through every storm. Now hear this clearly. If you want to become resilient, disciplined action must become your daily law. Because resilience is not a gift. It is not something you are born with. It is built in the small moments when you choose discipline over ease. Every time you rise after a failure, you install resilience. Every time you act through fatigue, you install resilience. Every time you build when no one is watching, you install resilience. And over time, you become the man who cannot be broken. This is not theory, it is law. Discipline practiced equals resilience earned, and resilience is the currency that buys freedom in a world of volatility. The man of talent alone will be fragile. He will shatter when life turns against him. But the man of discipline will bend and adapt, he will endure and expand. Because he has trained for adversity, not by hoping to avoid it, but by forging strength through disciplined living. Now let me take you deeper. The man of discipline is not just resilient, he is a learner. Because disciplined men understand this. Truth. Progress is not found in perfection, it is found in iteration. And iteration is discipline applied to learning. You move, you receive feedback, you adjust, you move again. This is how mastery is built. Not by waiting for perfect understanding, but by acting, learning, and refining in motion. The disciplined man embraces this process. He is not paralyzed by fear of failure, because failure is data. And through disciplined reflection and adaptation, he extracts power from every experience. This is why disciplined men grow faster than talented men, because while the talented man waits to feel confident, the disciplined man is gaining experience, wisdom, and competence through relentless action. And in the end, competence compounds. Because the man who moves learns, and the man who learns adapts. And the man who adapts eventually surpasses the one who only started gifted. This is why discipline will always pay more than talent. It is the engine behind resilience. It is the engine behind growth. It is the engine behind identity transformation. And it is the single factor you can control, regardless of where you begin. Now hear me fully. Discipline is not a luxury. It is a necessity. In a world drowning in distraction, discipline is your edge. In a market flooded with noise, discipline is your signal. In a culture addicted to ease, discipline is your differentiator. And the man who builds unshakable discipline, he becomes rare. And what is rare becomes valuable. Not by accident, but by design. By choice, and you, my friend, must choose now. Because life is passing, moments are slipping, and every undisciplined day is a vote for the man you do not want to become. But every disciplined action, no matter how small, is a vote for the man you are called to be. So choose comfort or power, distraction or focus, mediocrity or greatness. The choice is yours, and the gate is discipline. Enter, and do not look back. Now as you enter this new path, do not mistake the simplicity of discipline for weakness. The world will tempt you toward complexity, toward shiny strategies, toward endless information and analysis. But the giants of history moved by one law: simple, consistent, relentless, because complexity seduces the undisciplined. But the disciplined man finds his edge in simplicity, executed with ruthless precision. One morning ritual, done daily. One clear priority, executed without distraction. One unbreakable commitment, to move forward no matter what. And it is in this simplicity that greatness compounds. Carnegie mastered this. He focused on steel, nothing else. Ford mastered this. One car, one system, relentless improvement. Edison mastered this. One problem, solved through endless disciplined experimentation. They did not scatter their power, they concentrated it, and discipline was the tool that allowed them to do so. Now ask yourself, where are you scattering your power? How many distractions do you entertain each day? How many times do you allow the I cry by in trivial to rob you of the essential? This is the disease of the undisciplined. They confuse busyness with progress. But the disciplined man, he chooses what matters. He eliminates what does not. He executes with focus. And as a result, he outpaces the talented man who chases everything. This is why discipline pays more than talent, because it channels your potential into momentum. And momentum, my friend. Momentum is the invisible force that separates the great from the forgotten. Once momentum is built, opportunities arise, doors open, synchronicities appear. The world begins to bend in your favor, not by magic, but by compound action. But momentum does not visit the undisciplined. For them, every day is starting over. Every day is a negotiation with self. Every day is stop and go, progress built and lost. But for the disciplined, momentum becomes inevitable, and once you taste it, you will never want to go back. Because life with momentum is rich, it is purposeful, it is alive, and it is earned through discipline. Now let us speak of vision, because discipline without vision is blind labor. But discipline aligned with vision, that is unstoppable power. You must cultivate a vision so compelling that it demands your discipline. Not a vague wish, but a vivid, emotionally charged picture of who you are becoming and what you are building. Carnegie wrote his chief aim and read it daily. Ford visualized an affordable car in every driveway. Lincoln saw a united nation when the world saw division. Edison saw a lit world when others saw darkness, and their discipline was fueled by that vision. Now hear this. If your discipline feels forced, it is because your vision is weak. But when your vision burns bright, discipline becomes devotion. You no longer act from obligation, you act from purpose, you act from identity, and that is the highest form of discipline. Not a chore, not a grind, but an act of alignment with your future self. So if you struggle, strengthen your vision. Write it. Speak it, visualize it, obsess over it, and then move every single day in disciplined alignment with that vision. This is how you build a life others cannot comprehend. Because most men live in reaction, you must live by design, and design requires discipline. Now let us speak of another fuel, one overlooked by many. Gratitude. Yes, gratitude. For the disciplined man understands this truth. Gratitude is not passive. It is an active force that multiplies resilience. When you are grateful, you endure more. You persevere longer. You savor the process, not just the outcome. And when you combine gratitude with discipline, you become a man who is both hungry and grounded, a dangerous combination. Because the ungrateful man burns out. The grateful man sustains. He finds joy in the grind. He finds purpose in repetition. He finds meaning in the hard days, and this joy feeds discipline. Because a man who loves the process will outlast the man who only loves the prize. So cultivate gratitude. Be grateful for the ability to rise early. Be grateful for the body that can move. Be grateful for the mind that can learn. Be grateful for the discipline that shapes you. And with each grateful breath, move, build, sharpen, advance. Because this is how you become unstoppable. A man of vision, a man of discipline, a man of resilience, a man of gratitude. And over time, over years of disciplined living, you will look back and see something extraordinary. Not just what you built, but who you became. For this is the final gift of discipline. It transforms not just your results, but your identity. You may begin the path doubting yourself. You may begin uncertain, inconsistent, fragile. But through daily discipline, you forge a new self. A self that trusts his own word. A self that moves through fear. A self that earns respect, first internally, then externally. And that self, that disciplined, purpose-driven, resilient self, is a force the world cannot ignore. Not because he is the most talented, but because he is the most relentless. And relentless men, they build empires. Now, choose. The path is clear. The price is known. The rewards are beyond what you can now imagine, but they belong only to the disciplined. Not tomorrow, not someday. Now, move and never stop. And as you move, you will feel the old self resist. The voice of comfort will grow louder. The urge to retreat will rise. The temptation to say, good enough, will whisper at your door. But understand this. This resistance is the signal that you are on the right path. Because the old self fears discipline. It knows that if you persist, if you choose discipline again and again, you will outgrow it. You will become unrecognizable to who you once were. And this, my friend, is the true victory. Not the wealth alone, not the status alone, not the trophies the world can see, but the silent knowing that you have forged a new self through fire, that you have become a man the younger you could barely imagine. A man of power, a man of integrity, a man of discipline. This is why discipline pays more than talent, because talent impresses others, but discipline transforms you. And when you are transformed, you move through life differently. You walk with certainty, you high, speak with conviction. You act with authority, not because the world crowned you, but because you crowned yourself through earned mastery. And mastery, my friend, is not a gift. It is built one disciplined choice at a time. This is the final law I give you. Engrave it deep. Every disciplined action is a vote for the future you desire. And every undisciplined moment is a vote for the future you fear. You are casting votes all day long, through your choices, through your words, through your habits, through your rituals, and the future you build will reflect the votes you cast. Do not be deceived by short-term comfort. It is the enemy of long-term power. For every moment you choose discipline, you strengthen the architecture of a future no one can take from you. But every time you betray discipline, you weaken that structure. And here is the truth no man can escape. You are building or you are breaking. There is no neutral. So I ask you now, as a man speaking to another man who is called to rise, what will you choose? Will you be the man who starts strong but fades? Will you be the man who watches others ascend? Will you be the man who lives trapped by his own comfort? Or will you be the man who honors his vision through unrelenting discipline? Will you be the man who moves regardless of mood? Will you be the man who acts before fear can speak? Will you be the man who earns his place among the builders of history? The choice is yours. No one can make it for you. But know this, once chosen, once truly chosen, discipline will become your ally. It will carry you through the dark days. It will amplify your talents beyond what nature gave you. It will make you a force in a world drowning in weakness. And in time, those who once doubted you, those who once seemed more talented than you, those who once had more advantages than you, they will watch as you rise. Not because you were gifted, but because you were relentless. Because you chose the harder path. Because you chose the path of discipline. And they will wonder, how did he do it? But you will know the truth that only the disciplined man understands. Talent may open the first door, discipline builds the house, and only the house endures. Now breathe, feel the fire within you. It is there. It always has been. You do not need permission. You do not need perfection. You do not need to feel ready. You need only to choose and then to act. One disciplined choice today, then another tomorrow, then another the next, until one day you will wake and realize the old self is gone. And in his place stands a man of unshakable power, a man of discipline, a man who has earned what talent alone could never buy. Go, build, move. Your future is waiting, and the key is in your hands. Discipline, always discipline, now, forever, without compromise. Move.